The key to this ministry is student leadership, and the proof: no one over 18 is allowed on that stage. It's the big idea behind what's known as How to Life. Students lead worship, run the sound, and boldly share their testimonies with their friends.
I attempted to take my own life. I did not feel a purpose on this earth.
I just broke down and I said, God, I really need you to help me through this right now.
God came so that you may have life and so that you may have it abundantly.
Jordan Whitmer started this 3-year-old ministry as a high school junior. Now he's taken it full-time to 15 states. Thousands of students have attended How to Life rallies, with hundreds accepting Christ.
The story we continue to hear are these students that say, hey, I wanted to do something like this. I want to reach my friends for Jesus, but I don't really know how.
Reporting in Texas, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Thanks, Heather. Jordan Whitmer joins us now, and we welcome you to the 700 Club.
Thank you so much, Reverend Robertson. I'm so excited to be here today and so honored.
Delighted you are. What are these teenagers telling you when you're dealing with high school students? Are you dealing with suicide? Are you dealing with hopelessness? What do you find?
Absolutely. My generation of teenagers today, there's just so much brokenness out of teenagers across the country today. We live in a generation, my generation, called Generation Z, the new teenagers that are here. There's just so much brokenness, so much sorrow amongst teenagers across the country. You're right. There are suicide rates that are up. There's just overall, my generation is desperately in need of hope. And
what's causing this? I mean, we've had teenagers over the years. I was a teenager. We all were one of these days. What's different now?
Absolutely. Well, it's just incredible, and it's sad what's been taking place just with a generation that is farther and farther from God from many previous generations, and the fact that there's so many. With the rise of technology and the rise of just more and more issues, teenagers tend to be in a different psychological position.
Does social media contribute to that? They're watching all this stuff on the internet. Does that make a difference?
Sometimes it does. It can definitely cause things and that sort of thing. But the good news is, when teenagers experience the hope that Jesus brings, when they hear the gospel, and in many cases, what better way for that to happen than from another teenager to share Jesus and the hope that he brings with them. When teenagers can hear about all that Jesus has done in one teenager's life and share that with others, it's incredible to see what God does when Jesus can get a hold of a teenager's life.
Well, you won't let anybody over 18 get on the platform in your services, is that right?
That's exactly right, because that's what we've really realized through this, is that high school students often listen to other high school students more than anyone else. So if that's the case, then who better to share Jesus with another teenager than another teenager? So we, in this movement called the How to Life student-led movement that's now all over the country, there is a movement of high school students that are passionate about reaching their friends for Jesus. So even I myself, I'm not even much on the stage really ever, because the goal is to empower local high school students in communities all across America.
Do you train them? Is a school or something to teach them what to do?
Yes. What How to Life does is we help empower high school students around the country to reach their friends for Jesus. We train them, we help them, because many students, one thing, they continue to say this similar story of, I wanted to reach my friends for Jesus, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to reach my friends for Jesus, but through a student-led event type thing. But we help them do that, help them mobilize an event that they can use to reach their friends for Jesus and to step up and to share Jesus with their friends through outreach events. And it's incredible when a student can share their story.
Do these kids make fun of the gospel, or do they welcome it with respect?
Well, what's very unique is when a high school student hears the gospel from their friend they're often more receptive than in any other standpoint, because when they hear that this works for their friend, that Jesus works for them, that often is all that it takes for a student to realize, you know what, maybe I can truly experience Jesus because of the hope that he brings and the fact that he works for them, he can work for me. And ultimately the gospel, it is strong, and students, teenagers today, they are ready for Jesus. Ready, so ready. They need Jesus. They want Jesus.
That's marvelous. Is this because their parents are divorced, because they're living with single parents, or what is it that's causing this? I mean, I can't remember a great move when I was a teenager that we were interested in girls and parties and that kind of thing, but there wasn't much emphasis in the gospel. This seems to be a different culture.
It is. I mean, Satan and sin are strong. They have been for generations, and it feels like there truly is an increase in that over time. That has been happening with our generation of my generation of teenagers today, and it's sad. It's sad what happens, and definitely there's many causes that over time have caused this, but. For the most part, it's exciting. I view it as a true challenge, as I personally have been called to reach my generation for Jesus by empowering and seeing a movement come together. The Bible in Acts talks about how your sons and daughters will cry out, your young men will see visions.
That's right.
And I feel like that's truly what's happening now. And also 1 Timothy 4:12 says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for other believers. And I see both of those verses as some of the key strong verses of this entire movement of teenagers. When teenagers don't let people look down on them, but set an example and see visions and dream to reach their friends for Jesus, it is incredible what can take place.
How long do you plan to go? I mean, you're going to cross this magic line of getting to be in the 20s pretty soon.
Yes.
How long do you plan to do what you're doing?
I plan to see this happen for a long time. How to Life Movement is now its own nonprofit organization, and I'm the founder, CEO of How to Life Movement. My goal is to see this well into the future, and because my dream is to see this truly become a movement. This movement of teenagers is now in 15 states around the country, and there's students across all 50 states and around the world that are wanting to be a part of this. And our dream is that we can get there, that we can see an organization support a movement and expand all over the country to see this movement grow.
Jordan, you're an inspiration, and I pray that the Lord will continue to bless you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Reverend Robertson. I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, I'm thrilled you are. Jordan Whitman. You can learn more about Jordan and the How to Life movement by going to our website at cbnnews.com.